today I'm going over the section in chapter 2 called Cause and Effect. As you can see, it's raining. There may be drops of rain landing on me as I read this, but I needed to move out into the rain a little bit just to have a little bit of light. Okay, but I'm trying to keep my book dry. Paragraph 1 starts with a joke from Jesus, as usual. You may still complain about fear, but you nevertheless persist in making yourself fearful. Okay? It's his way of telling us that we've made this up. We made our own fear to scare ourselves, and we're scaring ourselves, and none of it is even real. So he says, I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know, meaning Jesus, it does not exist, but you do not. If I intervened between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with a basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. Okay, so right away, Jesus is telling us that he cannot intervene and just take care of all of this for us. First of all, Jesus is us. We are all one. He is an aspect of our mind that is awake, that is aware, that knows the truth. That's who Jesus is. And he's telling us, the rest of him, the rest of the one of us, that we are telling ourselves something that's not true, and we have made this fear up on our own. And he's constantly telling us in this course that we have the power to choose, that we can change our mind, that we don't have to keep believing in this fear that we miscreated. And all the power lies within us, our choice in our mind. So that's why he's saying he can't just step in and disempower us and do it for us. It doesn't work that way. We are him. He chose with his right mind to awaken, and he's encouraging us to choose with our right mind to awaken. He says it's much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. You may feel at this point that it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true, right? That's why this is a course in miracles. He's telling us the miracle that we need to practice in order to release ourselves from this false, miscreated fear. You are not used to miracle-minded thinking, but you can be trained to think that way. All miracle workers need that kind of training. Okay, that's what this course is. It's training us to be miracle workers. And a miracle worker is someone who practices miracles, which is knowing the truth, knowing that the illusory world of fear, sickness, death, and dying isn't real, it isn't true, and waking up to the truth, which is just pure love, an extension of love. So we have to train our minds in order to know that, and that's what this course is. This is what he's telling us, Jesus. Paragraph 2 says, I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me. Okay, so me, meaning Jesus, but also the one us, the one Son of God. We cannot help Jesus, our right part of our mind, wake up if we're stuck in the wrong part of our mind, in our ego thought system, not even knowing that we are Christ consciousness. So we cannot help ourselves to wake up. We cannot help the Christ consciousness part of the one sonship that we are if we leave our mind unguarded. And that is what Jesus is here to help us do, is to help us guard our mind, to help us understand the truth of what we can be thinking. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. So when we use our mind correctly and we practice miracles, we are therefore avoiding miscreation. Because when we are not practicing miracles, when we are not remembering the truth of who and what we really are, we are miscreating. That's our go-to. That's our default. So we have to practice. We have to train ourselves to practice miracles. Paragraph 3 tells us both miracles and fear come from thoughts. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear, if only temporarily. Okay, that's exactly what miracles are. that we choose a moment. We can call that a holy instant to remember the truth, to practice a miracle. It is temporary. It's just for that moment that we have focused our mind to the truth. But that's okay. We need to do a lot of those, so that we can wake up. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. You are afraid of God, of me, meaning Jesus, and of yourself. You have misperceived or miscreated us and believe in what you have made. Okay, us, thinking that there's many of us, right? There's only one of us. There's God and there's the one Son, and that's it. And we miscreated all these other beings, characters, people, entities, whatever, that we think are out there that are separate from just the one us that there is. You have misperceived or miscreated us and believe in what you have made. And because we believe in our miscreations, that's what causes all the pain and the upset that we feel. You would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The fearful must miscreate because they misperceive creation. All right, we're confused. We think we can create in this world and we keep trying to do it because we're constantly wanting to stay rooted in our ego thought system. And that's why when we're drawn to this course, there's another part of our mind, Holy Spirit, the voice for God, whispering, telling us, no, there's something else. There's a reason that you're not happy. There's something else that you can awaken to. There's a love that is greater than anything you've ever imagined. We feel that inside, and we hear Holy Spirit, the voice of God, calling to us, whispering to us, reminding us of this truth. And that's why we're drawn to the messages of this course. When you miscreate, you are in pain. So as soon as we're in pain, we know we've chosen wrong, we've chosen the ego, and we are miscreating. The fundamental conflict in this world then is between creation and miscreation, okay? It's the same as choosing between love and fear. It says the conflict is therefore one between love and fear. That's it. Those are our two choices, love or fear. Paragraph 4 tells us, yet any attempt to resolve the error through attempting the mastery of fear is useless. Okay, so all this stuff about facing your fears and, just do it and, all that type of egoic, false strength thinking, Jesus is telling us here, is useless. It's useless to try to do that. In fact, he says, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need be mastered. Right? We're already giving it power. As soon as we think we need to conquer it, we've given it power. And Jesus is saying, no, it has no power. It's false. The true resolution, he says, rests entirely on mastery through love. Love is the answer. In the interim, however, the sense of conflict is inevitable since you have placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist. Fancy words that just mean as long as we are believing our false ego beliefs, as long as we are believing in fear and giving it power, we will continue to miscreate and be believing in the wrong thing and putting power and belief in something that doesn't even exist. Paragraph 5 is telling us that nothing and everything cannot coexist. To believe in one is to deny the other. These are just other words to replace love and fear. Fear is really nothing, and love is everything. Whenever light enters darkness, the darkness is abolished. Okay, that's how powerful light is. All we need is a tiny, tiny little spark of light, and darkness is abolished right away. This is part of our miscreation and our upside down thinking. We have given a tremendous amount of power to fear and darkness. We think that they have power over us, but they do not. To concentrate on error is only a further error. Okay, so when we concentrate on our miscreations, when we concentrate on fear, when we concentrate on whatever mistakes we're making, we are just giving more power to error. The initial corrective procedure is to recognize temporarily that there is a problem, but only as an indication that immediate correction is needed. This establishes a state of mind in which atonement can be accepted without delay. So those are fancy words to tell us that when we're in pain and we're suffering, we can use the miracle to get out of it, even if it's temporary. And as we do that, We begin to establish a state of mind in which atonement can be accepted without delay, meaning we're getting more and more ready to accept the atonement as we practice miracles. We have to keep doing it. Time is essentially a device by which all compromise in this respect can be given up. Okay, so it's telling us time is only here for us to practice miracles. That's it. It's an illusion that we have made in this illusory world. And while it's here, we can use it to wake up. We can use it to remember to practice miracles and wake up. It only seems to be abolished by degrees because time itself involves intervals that do not exist. Okay, it just keeps telling us over and over again that time does not exist. It's only here as a tool for us to wake up. And the more we practice miracles and remember the truth, the more we are collapsing time, the less amount of illusory time that we need to be here before we wake up and go home. Miscreation made this necessary as a corrective device. It's another way of saying because we miscreated, we need the miracle as a corrective device to wake us up, to stop us from miscreating. Paragraph 6 says, it should especially be noted that God has only one son. There's only one of us. All his creations are his sons. Everyone must be an integral part of the whole sonship. The sonship in its oneness transcends the sum of its parts. However, this is obscured as long as any of its parts is missing. So as long as any of us does not know the truth and has not woken up to the oneness of who we are, from our perspective of this illusory world, there are parts that are missing. This is really just metaphor. Nothing's actually missing. We never did any of this. We never went anywhere. We never miscreated this world. It's all an illusion. But within this illusion where we think we are, we forgot that we are all one. And it would appear that there are parts of us that are missing from the wholeness, from the oneness, from the love, from the awareness. That is why conflict cannot ultimately be resolved until all the parts of the sonship have returned. Okay, again, metaphor for all of us waking up. Only then can the meaning of wholeness in its true sense be understood. Any part of the sonship can believe in error or incompleteness if he so chooses. However, if he does so, he is believing in the existence of nothingness. The correction of the error is the atonement. It's telling us the same stuff all over again. We've got two choices, love or fear. We can choose truth or we can choose our delusion that we miscreated. We all have free will, so we get to choose. That's what it's telling us. We get to choose what to focus on. And if we choose to focus on miracles and continue to practice them, that will get us ready for the atonement. And the atonement is the ultimate goal. That's how we wake up. Paragraph 7 says, readiness is only the prerequisite for accomplishment. Okay, readiness means as we're practicing miracles and getting ready for atonement, and then atonement is the accomplishment, the actual waking up and remembering. The two should not be confused, Jesus tells us. As soon as a state of readiness occurs, there's usually some degree of desire to accomplish, meaning we want to reach atonement. Okay, that's why we're going to keep practicing miracles, keep getting ready for atonement because we want to accomplish it. Confidence cannot develop fully until mastery has been accomplished. We have already attempted to correct the fundamental error that fear can be mastered, and have emphasized that the only real mastery is through love. It's the only real mastery that there is. Readiness is only the beginning of confidence. Okay, so the more that we practice miracles, the more confident we get in the truth, in the true essence of who and what we really are. You may think this implies that an enormous amount of time is necessary between readiness and mastery, meaning practicing miracles, and mastery meaning atonement, waking up, being done with believing in the ego thought system and fully waking up to who and what we really are. So we may think it implies an enormous amount of time, he tells us, but let me remind you that time and space are under my control. And that is how that section ends. So Jesus is reminding us again that he, meaning that part of our mind, our higher self, is in control of time and space. and that he will collapse it for us, or that part of our mind will collapse it for us as we continue to practice miracles, as we continue to wake up out of our ego nightmare dream and see truth again and again and again and again, all throughout the day and night, every single day and night. We are getting ready, getting ready, getting ready. We're gaining confidence, gaining confidence, gaining confidence, until finally we get to the place, just like Jesus did when he appeared to be here over 2,000 years ago, to fully awaken and accept the atonement, which is removing all obstacles that we have placed between us and God's love, which is who and what we really are.